Starbucks will close more than 8,000 stores. That's 175,000 employees this afternoon for a conversation and training on racial bias. In a curriculum partially designed by the NAACP, 175,000 employees will be given a history of civil rights before breaking into small groups to discuss ways to identify and avoid bias in everyday situations. They will also be shown a new training video on how to combat unconscious bias.
We are here to make Starbucks a place where everyone feels welcome.
Helping people see each other fully, completely, respectfully.
The training, of course, was initiated after 2 African-American men were arrested for hanging out in a Starbucks without making a purchase last month. Mark Thompson back with me. Mark, here's what's interesting. The conversation is not at all and about, well, if you're in a Starbucks, you have to buy a product. If you don't, you should leave. And Starbucks hasn't been trying to make that argument because it is about unconscious bias, because people who look like me in yoga pants get to hang out in Starbucks all day long. But critics are saying Starbucks' action here, it's a PR stunt to save face. Though there are few companies you could point to that are actually taking this aggressive a step in trying to educate at least their employees on racial bias.
Yeah, they're trying, but it's not enough, and it can't happen in one day. As one who has actually done diversity awareness and sensitivity training myself, it has to be an ongoing process. We're dealing in America right now with a great deal of culture war, and it comes from the top down. President Trump is fomenting a lot of this. And so to combat that, there need to be more discussions. This isn't the first one that should happen. There should be more, number one. Number two, as I said last time we talked about this, and I had this conversation just this morning with the president of the NAACP, Derek Johnson, we must ask Starbucks to let us know how many of their licensees are African Americans, people of color, and or women. How many of their managers are African Americans, people of color, and or women. Because that leadership is important, because then you'll have an opportunity as the days go by for those who run those individual stores, not just baristas, and we know there are diverse baristas there, but that leadership from the licensee to the manager to continue to inform their employees about unconscious bias and to continue to model what is the appropriate way to treat an employee. That's what Starbucks needs to do. This is the first step. It's a baby step. That needs to be more.
Don't we then need to go backwards and figure out, are there diverse candidates who are trying to run some of their businesses who are being turned down? And if that's not the case, then what we need to do to help more diverse candidates be in a position to run a franchise, to be in management. And I want to share, because the Reverend Al sat down with the current CEO of Starbucks earlier, and Kevin Johnson, and I want to share what he said, because we keep saying this is just one day of training, but I think it's going to be a lot more.
This is then just the beginning. We don't think this is a magic wand, 529, and kumbaya, and we're all together.
That's right. This is the beginning of our journey, and we have steps that will follow this. In fact, we're working on additional content and modules that will roll out each month for the next 12 months. And so, I see this as going to be something that is woven into the fabric of how we operate as a company.
So they're saying this is the first step. Do you believe it?
That's believable. I won't doubt that. I won't question that. But again, one of the things we do, even in the Wall Street Project with Reverend Jackson, one of our other organizations, Rainbow Push, we do a report card, and we ask that question. What is the leadership? Is there diverse ownership within this group? Are there diverse branches, retailees, licensees? And whenever you find an organization that isn't forthcoming with that information, Stephanie, it's a little bit of concern. Because when you ask that question, and that brings in your follow-up question, well, why not? How many of them have been candidates? How many of them have you considered? How many of them have you turned down? And so for Starbucks to be fully held accountable and to really make this work in the way they want to make it work, there has to be more training, even from the top. Now, I understand that top executives have already had this training and that they'll be participating participating today. That has to continue on an ongoing basis, and we need to know about the leadership.
This is a great point. You know, Mark Benioff from Salesforce had talked a lot about the gender pay gap, and his own team said, yeah, well, why don't you look at what we're doing in the company? And he completely opened up and looked at the company, realized that you had women getting paid less than men, and he fixed it in a day. And he regularly says CEOs should come absolutely forward and be clear about this if they want to fix it. And if you're not transparent, that's the issue. I want to ask you, though, 64% of Americans do think racism remains a problem in this country.
Yeah.
What do we need to do? So Starbucks is going to have this diversity training today, this racial bias training. The concern is, how do we get people on the other side, on both sides, to come to the middle? What we don't want to happen when something like this happens is everybody just go right back in their corner. Mm-hmm. We don't want to reinforce the same beliefs.
Well, I wish there was a way to do some type of unconscious bias awareness and sensitivity training for the whole country. But people have become so polarized, and it's tragic. You know, we just celebrated Memorial Day. And a lot of people don't know that it was African Americans in South Carolina at the end of the Civil War that actually started the tradition of Memorial Day. Instead, we have a president who's trying to project on the African Americans, particularly black African Americans and African Americans in the NFL, that they have no respect for the flag. So as long as you have, from the top down, that type of war against culture, as long as you have police that aren't themselves, police departments themselves, and aren't participating in diversity awareness, sensitivity training. I mentioned I've done it. I did it in the D.C. Police Department. I taught a class on the historical relationship between African Americans and law enforcement.
Do you think it made a
All
difference?
of them need to do. I think so, because during the time we were there, during that brief time, we didn't have as many incidents as we see today. And that needs to continue to be ongoing. Every organization, every business, big or small, should have the type of conversations on an ongoing basis as Starbucks is commencing today.
Things aren't going to change overnight, but we have to continue the conversation, we have to elevate it, and we have to put it in everyone's
And you helped too, Stephanie, bring it up. You know, for the two of us to even have this conversation, that ought to be an example. Well, you and I come from different backgrounds, different genders, but we ought to all be able to have a conversation and not be threatened and feel so defensive, and respect one another's experiences.